How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And way back in 1984, one of the greatest sci-fi action movies of all time was made. It was the Terminator. You had a killer robot from the future that was going back to the past to kill the leader of the human resistance before he was born. And so a soldier was sent back to protect that soldier's mother, that leader's mother. And not only that, but he ended up being that soldier's dad. Who knew? But anyway, because it was such an important piece of cinema, action movie history or whatever, you kind of figure, and it came out in the 80s, you kind of figure it was a no-brainer that we would have gotten a video game based on it for the NES. And we did at a couple of different points. Initially, in about 1988-89, Sunsoft had the Terminator license. And they were showing off proof of concept at CES. Only problem is that during development, the license expired. And so they took what they had, reskinned it, tuned it up, polished it, and sent it out into the world. On the Famicom, it's known as Rough World. Here in the US, it's called Journey to Silius, and it's a fantastic video game. Now, a few years later, the Terminator license did come to fruition on the NES in 1992. Sadly, it was published by Mindscape, and so we know what would happen there. We don't even have to have a conversation about it. But we are going to talk about that game. So today, we're talking about the NES port of the Terminator. Now, don't get it twisted. The Super Nintendo version of this game is better. It's also published by Mindscape. But, it's still not as good as the Sega Genesis and Sega CD Terminator games, because those were both published by Virgin Games. And Virgin Games at least had the decency to include the Terminator theme song. It's a standard run and gun action game, but the problem with the NES Terminator game is that you don't have any continues. You don't have any way to save your progress. You have to play through and beat this game in one sitting. And for a title this difficult, because this game was not easy. And I don't think that was because they wanted it to be difficult. I think that was because it was just a bad video game. It was a poorly built game. From the controls being bad, graphically it was ugly. The sound direction is hideous. There's a bunch of weird screeching sound for the music. There's no actual Terminator theme song. It's just bad. They did include some driving sequences though, something that wasn't included in other versions of the game. Now, are those driving sequences good? No, they're not. But are they there? Yeah. So, at least there's that. But yeah, man, the Terminator on the NES is not a good video game. And if you really, and the Super NES one is marginally better, mainly because it was developed by Bethesda, so it kind of feels like a janky version of Blackthorn almost. Now, I will say, if you want to play a really good Terminator game and you want the Terminator name on it, so Journey to Silius won't count, go seek out the Genesis game. Or if you have a way to play it, the Sega CD game. Because the Sega CD game, minus those tiny little windows with the really fuzzy full motion video clips from the movie, the Terminator game on the Genesis is fantastic. It had extra layers of scrolling in the background and foreground. It had incredible sound direction. And Virgin's Terminator game was just a well done video game, just all around. Now, if you really, really want to play the NES version, you really want to own that for some reason, you're just a big time collector of Terminator stuff, this game isn't cheap. It was a late in the life cycle NES game, and it was a bad game. So for some inexplicable reason, it's expensive in resale. The cheapest price I saw was about $45 for a copy. The average price I saw was about $75. So yeah, you could just do your own little math in your head and figure out. This was not a cheap video game in resale at all. And honestly, I don't know why. If you really want to play a Terminator game on the NES, just go get Journey to Silius and use your imagination, because it is a fantastic video game. And the owners of the Terminator license did themselves a disservice by not just extending the Terminator license for Sunsoft, because they did an incredible job of what they were working on. This game, not so much. This has been the 8-Bit Animal. And I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah, this is a crossover none of us knew we wanted, but boy oh boy did we enjoy it.